All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever and wherever you're watching from. So, welcome back to our Tech Hub, and today we'll be looking at understanding web server, domain name, and hosting. Right. So, if you have been following this course before, that means you have gone through the beginning to web development, or if you have not done that, please look for somewhere in this channel, and because it is layer upon layer so that you not get confused. Now, so let's dive into the course of today, understanding web servers, domain, and hosting. Right. So when we say web server, so what is a web server? So web server stores and serve website files. So it's two things here. Web server is responsible for storing, number one, and serve. So that is to say, it stores information concerning a website, and when you need it, it's also responsible to give it out. Right? Let's keep it simple as we go. You understand proper. So what's the analogy? So think of it as a restaurant kitchen serving food, right? So you are, let's say, a restaurant now. You are responsible for cooking the food and also serving to your clients, right? So functionality, web server communicates using HTTP or HTTPS protocol. When we dive into web development and the security part of web development, you get to understand that proper. So common softwares, popular web server use Apache, some use engines, some also use there's a whole lot of them though. When we dive so much in web development, remember this is just introduction. We'll look at them one after the other. So purpose, it processes requests and deliver website content. Like I said, it processes requests. For example, if you ask, let's say you go to a website and it's a music website and you are looking for what is it called now, let's say Thank You Jesus by Mercy Chinwo, right? A web server is responsible for going back to that website to search, is there anything like Thank You Jesus by Mercy Chinwo that is saved on this site? If there is, it will bring it out and give it to you and available for download. So availability, they ensure your site is accessible online 247, just like way human beings sleep, a web server does not sleep, right? So now, domain name, a domain is a website unique address online. So in a simple term, I would say a domain is the name given to a website, right? And its extension, I always add this so that you not get confused. So for example, you want a website, right? It is the name given to your website and its extension can be .com, can be .com, .ng, it can be any, right? So domain structure, domain includes subdomain. So subdomain is like, let's say for example, we have delsu.edu.com. That is the domain name. That means Delsu Delta State University is an education.edu.ng in Nigeria. Now, what is a subdomain? A subdomain is something like porter.delsu.edu.ng, right? Something like medical.delsu.com.ng, that's subdomain, right? Then TLUG is there. The important domain help user easily access a website and services. Here we have over thousands of websites online, right? So if you want to search for information, maybe on a specific website, so domain help you, just as if, just like we have thousands and millions of human beings on earth, but everybody has a name. So when you are in public, when they call a certain name, let's say your name is Mustafa Ahmed, right? When they call you Mustafa Ahmed, you know that, okay, oh, it's you that the person want to speak to, right? That's also very similar to domain name. Now the domain system, DNS, acts like the internet phone book of domains, right? Storing all the data, how to the configuration of the domain, right? An example, www.example.com, right? Like I've said, www.delsu.edu.online is a good example of a domain name, right? Registration, all domain must be registered to be used online, right? That's the uniqueness when it comes to this. Even if your name is Mustafa Ahmed, like I said, if you want to get the domain name for that, you have to buy it, right? Mustafa Ahmed.com or .org or .online, depending on the dot you want to use. Because of this, I'll show us where we can get our own domain name, right? So we'll be using this Gigo Cloud. So this is where we'll be getting our domain name from. When we that should be in our next class, I'll show you how to get a domain name, right? So this is where we are going to be getting our domain name. I'll pin this in the comment section, gigglecloud.com, right? So they are partnering with us to give us their domain at a very cheap rate, right? So as we go on, you get a discounted amount. If you are watching this video, the link will be on the comment section or in the description of this video. So let's continue. So now, yeah, that's that for that. So that's where you can register a domain name. So web hosting is a renting space on a server, right? Yeah, we are still going to be dealing with this. I used to say, if I want to simplify this, I would say hosting is where your files, your web files are being kept, right? For example, this Google Cloud now that will be using, we are going to be using them for both domain name and hosting, right? So first of all, in case you don't have an account, I'm going to drop the link. You create an account, and in our next class, we'll dive into it proper on how you can get your hosting, right? So then relationship between a domain name and a hosting, right? So domain name is just the name given to a site, right? But the hosting, in the hosting has the files, right? So domain name is just the name. Just like I said, everybody has a name, but your uniqueness, what makes you fair, what makes you top, is inside of you, right? So that's how a hosting operates. So we'll dive into it proper. Then accessibility, hosting allows users to access the website online. Yes, because it is the warehouse, it is where the codes are being kept, it is where the files, the colors, the text size, the font, the blah 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 blah, the designs, everything related to the website, it is stored in a hosting, the file manager, in a hosting. So a domain name is what points you. It's okay, I'm looking for so 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 and so. Domain name is the unique name. Then it points you to the components that are on the site, right? Types, they have shared hosting, they have VPS, and they have dedicated, right? But for the case of this course, we'll be going with shared hosting because it's a smaller unit, right? So where we get the storage, website are stored on hosting provider server. Yes, for now we may not be able to purchase the server. Server is like the larger part of it, but there are people that add as how will I put the S? Is it no? Let me say the demand that they've already bought large amount of server. They will now sell it off a small unit called hosting, right? So management, many hosts provide tools for easy website management. Yes, Google Cloud is highly recommended because they give their, I assure you that managing your host to be very easy with them. So thank you so much for joining. So in our next class, we'll dive into how you can get a domain name, how you can get hosting, and yeah, we'll take it off from there. Thank you and see you on the next one.